So guys, now let's learn about scatter plot. Okay, so scatter plot means basically there will be some markers in different sections of a particular plot. Okay, so let's first of all import Matplotlib, and then we can just write some values for x and y axis. Okay, so assume x axis values are 1 to 9, whatever you want. So I'll come back after writing the x and y axis values. Okay,
6.5 hours later.
so guys, you can clearly see I wrote some x and y values randomly. Okay, now it's time to create the scatter plot, right? So plt dot scatter. So to create a scatter plot, you just need to write plt dot scatter, and then you can just pass the x and y values, so x comma y, and we also want a label. Okay, so label will be anything like scatter plot or whatever you want basically, and then let's just write over here plt dot x label, and that will be x axis, so I'll just write x, and then plt dot y label, and that will be y axis, so I'll just write y, and then we also need to show some title, so plt dot title, I'll just write over here what else, like random values, and then plt dot show. Okay, let's run it. Now you can see this is the title and this is the x and y axis values. Okay, basically since we are using this 538 theme, that's why it added this grid and all. So let's just reset this Jupyter notebook, let's just restart, and then I'll just rerun this cell again. Okay, so let's rerun this cell. Now you can see this is the default form of that particular scatter plot, right? So you can see there are some random dots and random values and all. We actually want to change some color and change the size, but like we do in the other plot like normal plot or bar plot or pie chart, we can't use color term or size term over here. We have to use the short form of that, like s is for size. Okay, so now if I just write s is equals to 500, now the size of all dot will be 500. We already learned about marker, so I'll just use a marker as well. So marker will be assume star or something like that. Let's just run this cell. So now you can see the size of the markers is 500 and the markers are star, right? And we can also use some different colors. So for that we can just write over here color will be black. K is for black, so let's run it. Now you can see it all black. You can also set different color for different different stars, different different markers. So let's just use some different markers, for example 0 or point. This will be a small point, so let's run it. Now you can see these are looking good. So let's just change some color. Okay, we can actually change the color by by the density. For example, this will be like in a deeper color and this will be the lighter version of that particular color. So we can change some density percentage in a list. Okay, so I'll just write over here color will be equals to we have actually 9 values, so let's just write some random 9 values. Okay, then I'll come back. So I wrote some random color values, so let's use that particular variable over here. So it should be now colors, right? Okay, yeah, perfect. Now if I run it, it may throw an error. Yeah, it thrown an error. That is because of we use this color term. I already told you that you have to use S for size, C for color, right? So we just need to write over here C, that will be colors. Now if I run it, now you can see we have different colors, right? You can set a bar of, I'll show you that thing later on. We can also change the the blurry effect of it. So you can just write over here alpha is equals to alpha means how blurry this should look. So 0.5 will be perfect. So you can see now these are some light version of that previous one, right? And we can also use CMap. Okay, so CMap, basically let's just go into the documentation. This is the Matplotlib official documentation. You can see we have different CMaps, green, blues, these are the color CMaps. Then we have some summer, hot, spring, autumn, sea maps. You can just randomly use these things. You can just try it out with summer, then if you don't like that, you can just go to the autumn or spring or whatever you want. Okay, so I'll just use a sea map of greens. Okay, so you can see in the color option we have, where is that, you can see we have greens. So let's just use greens, and now the colors will be, now you can see the colors are random, right? So this is yellow, this is green, this is blue and all. But now after writing cmap is equals to greens, now all the colors will be green. Maybe the deeper version on the lighter version, but now all the color will be green. Okay, so now if I run it, okay, there is a invalid syntax again, we missed a comma over here. So let's run it again. Now you can see all are now green, right? You can also set a bar right side of that particular plot so that the user can understand if the color is deep green, that means the values are high. If the color is light green, then the values are low. So for that you can just use one more thing, that is c bar, right? C bar will be equals to, this is a method actually, so plt dot color bar, and then we can just write, okay, this should be plt, perfect. And now c bar dot set underscore label. Basically you can also use some labeling over there. So assume we are going to use some green color, right? So we can just make it a happy bar or something like that. So if I run it now, you can see we have this bar over here. That means if the color is deep green, the number will be around 9 or 8 or 7, something like that. The happy percentage is really high. And if the color is light green, that means the person is sad. Okay, so you can use this kind of bar beside the plot. And you can also you can clearly see I used color list instead of a particular color. Similarly, you can also use a size list instead of a particular size. So right now all the size is 500. You can create a size list of some sizes containing like 9 values. Okay, since we are using 9 values, so you have to use 9 values, and then you can just pass that particular variable over here instead of 500. Okay, so I'll just quickly write some values over here, then I'll come back. Okay, so I wrote some random size values. Now let's just pass this variable over here. S is equals to now size. So if I run it now, you can see these circles are in different sizes. So this is the bigger one, this is the smaller one. So in this way you can use this scatter plot. Okay, and there is one more thing. I already wrote this label scatter plot over here, but this is not showing over here. That is because of we didn't use the legend method. Okay, so plt.legend will actually make this thing visible. Okay, and now if I run it, now you can see this scatter plot is showing over here, right? So in this way you can create a scatter plot in Matplotlib. Okay.